Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 27. This week, or whatever, so what is it? Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2014, and we're having a pajama party today. Hey, so get in your pajamas or something, I don't know. We are in another location in my house today, which turned out less bad than I was expecting. um, so the saga of refinishing the floor continues, which means that there are only a couple of rooms in my house right now that I can visit. One of them is the bedroom, so welcome. So I'm actually recording on top of my bed, so this is the comforter. Which is why we're having a pajama party, because we're hanging out in my bed. But I was surprised because the lighting appears to be way better here for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we'll just go with it. I probably won't continue to record in the bedroom today as a special case. And this episode might go by really fast, which is fine. Because of the refinishing the floor saga, this has resulted in what feels like way less knitting time than usual. It was a case where I got some knitting done like Friday, and Thursday night was VKN for Hallelujah. But basically all of Saturday and all of Sunday was basically sanding and applying polyurethane, and I was exhausted and sore. I wasn't really prepared to spend all weekend working, so it was less restful than usual and far less knitting than usual. So there's no spinning this week, no weaving, just knitting. But I guess I do have some progress to show you guys. So first off is holiday. I had to quick finish a row. I have finished seaming. Well, nearly finished seaming. I suppose I still have some seams to go. So this is what we're talking about here. Let me figure it. I'm always backwards. This way. Okay. So this is where I stand right now. So what we're looking at here is one of the fronts. I wouldn't necessarily say it was my best seam job ever, but it seems to have done the job. And then I've been wailing away at the copycat lace section, so there is a little flavor of how that is turning out. So what was it? So I'm sort of in between the medium and small sizes, and it turns out that there was that Mel did in fact have a plan when she went ahead and did this thing. So it was a case where you want your right front and left front to look the same, which then meant that you had to have an odd number of repeats. And when I split the difference between the small and medium sizes, I ended up with an even number of the copycat pattern repeats. So what this meant was that I had to center them up so that the right front and the left front had the same pattern, which basically just meant that I, at the beginning of the pattern, either do 3 stitches before I start the repeat or 5. And that ended up centering everything up nicely. Yeah, I ended up seaming it at the virtual knit night. I would say there have been better Kitchener jobs in my life as well, too. And I haven't woven in any of these ends yet. We shall wait a bit before I get to that, but yeah, so my Kitchener's pretty tight, but it's so tight you can't even really see it at all, so it ends up making maybe a subtle sort of seam. And I'm glad that most of the seaming is over at this point. I don't know, like maybe I can try putting it on for you guys. we'll see. So at the moment, ball of yarn needs to go around. I'm currently just knitting with one ball, and I'm just running from both sides. Yeah, no, unfortunately, the needles are smaller than my dimensions, so it's not really laying quite right on me. Maybe I can pick one or the other. So where I stand right now is, so what we can see here is that it's coming across. Hopefully it's the right size. There's supposed to be some negative ease, and I believe that what I ended up doing was making it so that I had about an inch of negative ease in the chest. And I'm halfway done with the copycat section right now, as of this moment. Or wait, no, I'm not halfway done. I'm planning on doing several repeats of this copycat pattern, which is sort of, it's interesting. I haven't ever done something like that. It would probably be really fun to do with socks. It would be easier to do with socks. Just it'd be easier to do in the round than anything else. And it gives it a nice, like, I wouldn't necessarily call it a wrap stitch, but it's sort of like a wrap stitch. Or smocking or something like that. So it depending, the small and medium have different requests for how many repeats of this pattern you're supposed to be doing, so I am continuing to learn, and some people actually have finished have finished sweaters now in the cowl, which is cool. More power to them. I think the idea being that you want to, the schedule is such that you'll have the sweater off the needles by the beginning of the Ravelolympics or Ravelinics or whatever. So, so at this point, what I probably have, I don't know. I'm trying to guesstimate how much this is. It's probably between 2 inches and 1.5 inches so far. And for how much I want to be covered there, I might end up doing extra repeats of the copycat pattern to make it long and to fall where I want it to fall. I don't know if I'll have to do anything interesting there because I think the sweater is meant to be a little bit cropped, but I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe Mel is short-waisted, who knows. So, making it fall where I want to fall. It definitely is quite stretchy, though the look of the pattern looks pretty different when you have it pulled out like that. But yeah, so that's where I stand right now. I haven't been, so what was it? So I seamed it together and then I started this section. Don't know if I'll be done by the end of the week of the copycat section, or if this week is even the copycat section. It's entirely possible that I'm ahead now, since I've been so far behind this time. But Hallelujah by, what is it? Mel of Single-Handed Knits with yarn from Stacy of the Mustache Podcast. So, it's a podcaster sweater. Not gonna lie. And I'm assuming that it'll be very lovely and pretty when it's done, and that it will be able to see a lot of wear. So, yay, exciting. Coming along. It just sort of depends on what sort of mood I'm in, whether I'm working on this or working on my other project. My other project is Walk on the Moon, which is from Arlene's World of Lace, and I am making it out of wool Misa lace in the Pistazi colorway, the ORH negative, and the Chim Chim Chimney colorway. And at this point, it's probably getting to be a little bit too big for the needles I have on it, but I cleared my Xiaogu interchangeables, or did I? Yeah, so these are my Knit Picks size 3s, and I also have my Knit Picks size 3s on this too. But I probably need to change the cords out on my 3s and then get this on a monster needle, because it is scrunched and bunched. But I am very nearly done with the green section. I'm actually getting ready to start the first row of chart 3. So chart 1 and 2 are complete now. So this is what we have going on here. Hold it up. I don't even know what it's looking like. Sneak around, look and see what I can see. And yeah, no, it's coming together nicely. I'd say that this section here is popping quite a bit based on the colors that I chose, and I'm really liking how it's turned out so far. After I do my last row of green, I will be heading into a lot of red, and then I'll start to incorporate my blue color in, and we'll see how that goes. So I've been probably working on this more than anything else. It's just I don't know, or maybe I just haven't had much knitting time at all, so I haven't gone far in anything. I'm trying to remember where I was last week. I don't remember where I was last week. And as it continues to grow, what is it? As it continues to grow, it will start taking longer and longer to make. Because I ended up getting a ton of progress done on my first one in the during the week of Christmas, so I don't have nearly that much time off this time around. And that's just the way of things. So, yep, that's where I stand there. There's been no spinning, there's been no weaving, there has been no fleece prep. The fleece is still upstairs drying right now, though I'm going to have to wait until after the floors are all finished to sit down and probably pick through it again, just because I don't really want to spread whatever hay and then have it get painted or whatever polyurethaned into the floor. That would not be classy. I'm assuming that this floor project ended up taking a lot more time than I expected. And it looks like tonight we will be doing the last coat of varnish. So after that is completed, then we have another 3 days until we can move our furniture back out. What you can't tell from this particular view of the bedroom is that there's actually a shelf of all of our DVDs, a bookshelf, and our 2 dressers, which normally live here, all of the chairs, and the couch. And like, it's a miracle that I can show you any part of the house that appears to be non-cluttered. Because it turns out that, I don't know, what's in the kitchen, there is a fish tank, part of the dining room table, some boxes of things which we just had to throw from off the table into a box so that we could disassemble the table. Let's see, there is an extra fish tank in the office, along with a vacuum cleaner, the spare wood from fixing the floor so that it was no longer awkwardly patched. I suppose there's not too much on the upstairs, but we were lazy and didn't really want to carry things up and down the stairs in order to put them places. So it's sort of hard to get around right now. It's a bit disruptive. So we'll see if I end up. Probably today will involve some good knitting time, unless the spirit moves me, and I'll head over and deal with some administrative stuff at at Purdue. So we'll see how it goes. In terms of the plans for this week, I would say the biggest plan, which I'm not sure whether or not I'll get around to it, hopefully I can get around to it, is to start swatching for the bow husk, because Revlonix is coming soon. I'm not sure when exactly. I probably shouldn't check when either, but it will probably be a lot of work to figure out what colors actually look good with each other. And then any projects that aren't finished before they start, I'm just gonna go full time, full in. Well, probably not actually full time, but I will be all in when it comes to knitting the bow husk, so I'm not gonna be working on any other projects other than that. And if the first bow husk was any indication, the colorwork section is very addictive to knit and a lot of fun. And then it's just a slog to get through the what is it? All of the fingering weight portions, and I'll be knitting those out of the just something I need to do today. I need to go to the yarn store. Oh no! I had well, that's sort of related to spinning. Whatever. Okay. So 1.5 needles, and I just have 2 circulars that I end up using, and I'll knit a sweater with 2 circs, because they're not super duper long. They're not so, like, I think I ended up doing the sleeves in the round with them, and then the body I needed 2, and so then I did it like 2 circs like you would with socks, which meant that was an awful lot of stitches to knit around. So maybe by next week I'll have some swatches to show you of how the color work comes together and stuff like that, because it'll be pretty awesome, I believe. And I'll make sure to make big enough swatches, as it turned out my first time, so what would be the big thing? Making sure I incorporate the knits and purls in, because it does change how it works, because a bow husk is not merely just stockinette in the round, it's a bit more complicated than that. And I don't know if I'll be incorporating tipping in this one or not. Like, the tipping looked really, really good in the in whatever my previous version, which it's not popping out to me at the moment, so it's probably put away. So yeah, that's the big thing that I'm thinking of, and we'll see whether or not I even have time to get to the excuse me, lizard tessellation problem or not. Should be possible, but who knows. And what else? I think that's everything. Let's see. I'll need to consult the calendar. It seems like Tuesdays are still working quite well for recording. Come on, calendar. Just because it's quiet time where, I don't know, Tuesdays are my chill day. So I will be recording again the 4th of February, and yeah, because the 4th is a Tuesday. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about today. So I'll just stop umming and say I hope you guys have a lovely week. And I'll see you again next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.